The drive from Dunedin to Invercargill and Invercargill to Te Anau on the Southern Scenic route is one of the most spectacular in New Zealand. In this video, I'll point out special places you want to be aware of, also a couple of different road options you might be interested in. My name is Michael, so let's get started. There's lots to discover. So we start in Dunedin on the east coast of the South Island, and if you type in the direct route towards Te Anau, this is pretty much what you get. It's about 3 hours, 33 minutes, 287 kilometers. As usual with Google, you have to add 10 to 15% extra time. If you're on a tight time budget, you probably want to do this. If you have a little bit more time, then I recommend two other alternative routes I want to talk to you about today. One of them is going through the Catlins National Park. This takes a bit longer. It's well worth doing it. The second one is going along, continue the coast and actually continue along Riverton Way to Atapri and Manapuri. Again, this takes also much longer, but let's go step by step. Let's look at the first option, going through the Catlins. Now, as you can see, it's quite a bit of a stretch, and especially further down the road, it's getting a bit windy. Therefore, again, you need to add a bit of time. So you head outside Dunedin, you're passing the airport here, out Dunedin Way, and you pretty much make your way down south. And the first major village you come across is 𝗥𝗲𝗹𝘁𝗲𝗱. It's one of these typical rural support towns in southern New Zealand. I recommend to stop here and stretch your legs, have a cup of coffee, whatever. It takes about an hour. So after you had your stop in 𝗥𝗲𝗹𝘁𝗲𝗱, you continue south, and this is the first highlight I really recommend you to visit, even if you go directly to Te Anau. It takes about half an hour from 𝗥𝗲𝗹𝘁𝗲𝗱 going down to Nugget Point Lighthouse. So you passing through 𝗥𝗲𝗹𝘁𝗲𝗱 Point, which is a bit further up here, so along the coast. It's a beautiful drive. And Nugget Point is a lighthouse, as mentioned before. I'll show you a couple of pictures here so you get the overall feel for the place. So it's pretty much exposed to the Southern Ocean. It's really on a fine day. It's hard to beat. It's a walk. It's quite a large car park in that. It's usually quite busy, but this is basically heading towards the lighthouse. It's a well-defined track, and on a clear day, you really want to do that. Also, calculate 30 minutes in, 30 minutes out, going back to the main road. Another cool place you want to stop, again, there's a car park and even public toilets, is the Roaring Bay Penguin and Seal Observatory. Again, I'll show you a couple of pictures. It's really beautiful. It's basically a stand where you can watch penguins and seals, New Zealand fur seals. Sometimes here's the stand. You basically look onto the beach without harming or without disturbing the penguins. And they usually, here's a yellow-eyed penguin. It's quite a rare penguin, but they usually come back to the beach in the afternoon, late afternoon, going up their nests because they're out and about fishing during the day. So this is another cool place you can combine with Nugget Point. So you now continue traveling towards Owaka, that's around here. There's one little walk and you might want to do. It's Tunnel Hill. It's mainly a return. It's about 15 minutes. It's an ex-railway tunnel. So this is maybe something you want to do if you have the time. I think it's all about time because there's so much to see along the coast. You're coming now into Owaka, which is one of the two major villages around the coast here. The next one, heading further south, is Papatowai. As I mentioned before, it's all about time. If you have a bit of more time, I would suggest you actually stay in the Catlins area, and I got a map here for you. So here's a map on accommodation options around the Catlins coast. This is catlins.org.nz. I'll put it into the description box. Plus, I will also put in our travel planning sheet, which helps you with your overall travel planning. So as you can see, the distance and the time between Dunedin and Invercargill is now already 4 hours 10 minutes and nearly 300 kilometers. This is with a little side trip to Curio Bay I'll talk about in a minute. But so you want to maybe consider staying in the area for a night or two because there's simply so much to do. So let's continue to check out some other sites. So heading further south from Owaka, you carry on, and here's a lovely little walk, 𝗦cie Falls. Again, it's a very scenic place. Waterfalls, there's lots of them, so that's one option, the first on the way. Then we continue further, and as mentioned before, we're coming through Papatowai. This is one of the main villages really along the coast. But yeah, further along, you got here the King's Rock Track with dramatic views over into the ocean. Everything is very well signposted. So the next place you really want to stop here is Florence Hill Lookout. This is a stunning view. It's a car park there, so you be able to safely park, and then you get these kinds of views on a fine day, looking right towards towards almost Antarctica. It's going southeast. Cathedral Caves is a huge, naturally formed cave right on the beach. So that's what it looks like when you're on the beach. The key thing you need to be aware of, you want to get there at low tide. You can check out the low tides when you Google. It's quite easy. There's also a big car park. There's a bit of a walkway down the beach, but yeah, it's absolutely crucial that you check out the tides, the timetable for tides. As you see, it's quite a popular place. So this is the walk going into Cathedral Caves. As you see here, they have also warnings on, for incoming tides especially. So be aware of that. So heading back to the main road, here is a great place for, just a coffee, or even if you want to stay, they have accommodation options here as well. The Whistling Frog, that's what it looks like. Yeah, it's right on the road. Basic accommodation. They also have beer on tap, but you can also stay with a motorhome. They have powered sites. But not far away are the McLean waterfalls. That's where we're heading next. So you can see Whistling Frog down here, and you head into that unsealed road towards McLean Falls. It's only a few kilometers, but this is, again, one of those key locations a lot of travelers would want to stop. So I can highly recommend that. It's a little walk in there, but you basically come to this waterfall into a series of terrace kind of falls. Lush, green, beautiful, maintained track here. Pretty easy. Look at that. Again, very well signposted, easy to do with families. Nature, bush, classic New Zealand scenery. So from here we're heading further southwest, and you can see here there's a farm cottage. As I mentioned before, there's a number of accommodation options in the area. They're much smaller, more local, boutique. But again, there's another Kurupu Falls. It's another option here. Again, stunning scenery, classic New Zealand bush. A bit of a boardwalk here. Some of those stones look a bit slippery. In general, I recommend when you go for walks, have at least walking shoes on. They don't need to be hiking boots, but you want to make sure that you have a good grip when you're walking over slippery stones, etc. Now, if you stay in the area or you have quite a bit of time on your hand, then I would suggest heading down to Curio Bay. This is a rather special spot. It's around about 8 to 10 kilometers from the main road, but it's a petrified forest. So let's have a look into that. So this is Curio Bay with an overhead shot. At low tide, you can see this petrified forest, which is 170 million years old, apparently. So here we have the website for the guardianships of Curio Bay. I'll put the link in the box below, but what they're saying here is that it's a unique environment. There's only 3 in the world. A petrified forest, which is 170 million years old. You can see some kind of pictures here, that kind of old wood inside those rocks, really. Apart from that, obviously, there's a lot of wildlife, bird life. There's a chance to see yellow-eyed penguins here, but also sea lions and seals. And yeah, so if you really have time, I do encourage you to head down to Curio Bay and check this site out. It's pretty special. So the region is also quite rich in history with the indigenous Maori population. So they settled around about 800 years ago in that region. And it was a food basket for them. They also had offshore islands, the Muttonbird Islands they're called, where they were heading out. One of those ones is 𝗤𝗄𝗄𝗃 Island, very rich in history. They're still having traditions every year that they're going over there and collecting the mutton birds. But yeah, that's another topic. But again, this area, including Stewart Island, is very rich in local Maori history. I will do a specific video on Stewart Island because that's just another level. Right, now, once you continue traveling towards Invercargill onwards, this is becoming more or less farmland. The whole Southland region, which is basically located between 𝗥𝗲𝗹𝘁𝗲𝗀 and Te Anau, it's a big New Zealand farming location. So if you continue to travel onwards towards Te Anau today, then I would suggest you have a good lunch or a break. And there's a couple of places I really want to recommend you to have a look at. One of them is actually the Bill Richardson Transport Museum. I mean, I'm not really into transportation and cars myself, but this place is pretty special. Bill Richardson was a local identity. He was a transport truck business owner, and he had that passion in collecting trucks. So this is what it looks like now. They're all collected in that Bill Richardson transport world. And honestly, it's just amazing when you walk through that. They're all kind of in mint conditions. His children and grandchildren have continued to run this place. And these days, it's basically a key attraction for Invercargill. So I highly encourage you, if you have the time, and if you even stay in Invercargill, that's a great way to have an hour or two. Also, Invercargill is the place, if you want to head over to Stewart Island, most likely you want to have a night or two in the city anyway. It's about 60,000 people living there. And it's a major hub in the Southland region. So the other place you want to stop, especially if you're into motorbikes, is the motorcycle Mecca here, right in the center of Invercargill. There's not only a collection of amazing motorbikes, but it's also quite a bit of history. Like Bert Monroe, he was a local Invercargill man, and he hit the speed record with his self-designed motorbike. And he did that at Salt Lakes in the US. And there was actually a movie with Anthony Hopkins, The World's Fastest Indian. So there's a lot of history. And if you in the motorbikes, even if not, this is a cool place to go to. There's a famous coffee, a really good one. It's called the Batch Coffee. Highly recommend if you're in town and you need to have a bit of beautiful coffee, beautiful food, then head into the Batch. It's open 7 days a week, as far as I'm aware. It's located, I think, in K Street, but you can easily Google and check it out. So that's a good place, the Batch. As you see, there's so many places to discover between Dunedin, Invercargill and Te Anau. You almost want to take a few days for this truly amazing New Zealand road trip. Therefore, I've done a second video going from Invercargill to Te Anau. Check out links in the description box below. Download the free travel planning sheet to help you design the best possible New Zealand holiday. Also, put any thoughts and questions into the comments fields below. If you find this video helpful and you made it so far in the video, please hit the subscription box below. Thumbs up to stay connected for more helpful New Zealand travel tips. See you in the next video.